Welcome viewers to Bodhi Unified Flow, where we simplify complexity and amplify performance. Today's explainer is all about the foundations of behavioral change. Specifically, we're looking at constructing a daily practice through habit formation. Our core focus? Habit stacking. We're going to talk about integrating micro-meditations into your existing daily routines. And the best part is, we're going to do this without adding hours to your already packed schedule. If you've ever felt like, you just don't have the time to sit on a cushion for an hour every single day, well, this framework is an absolute game changer for you. Let's just quickly glance at our agenda for today. We'll start with our welcome and objectives, then dive straight into the foundations of behavioral change, unpack the habit stacking method, design some micro-meditations, look at transforming daily routines, and finally, wrap up with a summary and our references.
All right, Section 1, Welcome and Objectives, or as I like to think of it, setting our intentions.
Our main intention today is really to hand you a practical blueprint. By the time we wrap up this explainer, you're going to clearly understand the difference between a behavioral boost and a nudge. You'll totally master the three-step habit stacking method, pick up some specific micro-meditations from the CBCT protocol, and most importantly, know exactly how to apply these techniques to completely transform your current daily routines. We're getting right past the theory today and moving straight into actionable steps. Moving right along to Section 2, the foundations of behavioral change. This is all about the science of small actions.
Okay, so in behavioral economics, you probably hear the word nudge thrown around a lot, right? Like a cafeteria putting fruit at eye level so you grab that instead of a slice of cake. A nudge just alters your environment to subtly influence your choice. But a boost is a completely different beast. Boosts are behavioral interventions that actively seek to improve your competencies and upgrade your skill sets. They actually empower you. So while a nudge just changes the room you're in, a boost upgrades your internal cognitive capacity. It helps you make better choices everywhere you go, regardless of the environment. And today, my friends, we are building boosts.
This brings us to a brilliant insight from behavioral scientist B.J. Fogg. He points out that massive behavioral shifts, they don't come from giant leaps. They actually come from tiny, consistent actions. Think about it. When we try to sit down and meditate for, say, 45 minutes on day one, the behavioral friction is just way too high. We almost always fail. But if we make the change incredibly small, like a tiny habit, we totally bypass the brain's natural resistance. We're going to use the sheer power of tiny actions to construct something massive over time.
Let's head into Section 3, the habit stacking method, which is really all about creating the bridge.
So, how do we actually make these tiny habits stick? Well, we use an already established daily action as a trigger, an anchor, completely removing the friction of trying to quote-unquote find time. Here's how it works. Step 1, identify a behavior you do every single day without fail. Maybe that's brushing your teeth, taking a shower, or brewing that morning cup of coffee. Step 2, you attach a tiny new behavior directly to that anchor. The magic formula is literally just, after I do my anchor, I will do my micro-meditation. And then step 3, of course, is to execute it consistently so it becomes completely hardwired into your brain.
That takes us to Section 4, designing these micro-meditations using the CBCT approach.
Now, what exactly are we stacking onto our daily anchors? For this, we're drawing directly from cognitively based compassion training, or the CBCT manual, developed at Emory University. And listen, this isn't about just zoning out, it's highly intentional. First, you adjust your posture to facilitate a bit of stillness. Second, take 3 deliberate, deep breaths. Just really relax that nervous system. Third, place your attention squarely in the present moment by resting it right at your nostrils. Fourth, simply notice the unfolding sensations of the breath. And finally, maintain non-judgmental awareness. You guys, this whole sequence takes maybe 30 seconds, but it powerfully settles the mind anywhere, anytime.
I really want to emphasize that the goal here is not to suppress your thoughts. That never works anyway, right? The goal is to shift from a reactive state into a non-reactive, observant state, letting your mind rest naturally. The CBCT manual uses this truly beautiful analogy. They say to rest your attention as gently as a butterfly alighting on a flower. When distractions pop up, and let's be real, they definitely will, you don't fight them. You don't judge yourself. You just note them, almost like clouds passing in the sky, and you gently guide that butterfly back to the flower, back to the breath. That tiny, micro moment of returning your attention, that is exactly how you build real cognitive resilience.
All right, Section 5, Transforming Daily Routines by Unifying Our View, Our Behavior, and Our Meditation.
Let's think about your morning shower for a second. Are you practicing mindless showering? Ruminating on daily stress, anticipating work problems, maybe having completely imaginary arguments with your boss before you've even left the house? We've all been there. Now, contrast that with mindful showering, as suggested by the Kadampa Center teachings. You can actually turn the simple physical act of washing into a moment of mental purification. The crazy thing is, the exact same 5 minutes can yield radically different psychological results, based entirely on where you decide to anchor your attention. You're already standing in the shower anyway, right? Why not use that anchor to give your mind a massive boost?
And we can map this strategy across our entire day using anchors drawn from Buddhist teachings. Think about waking up. Before you instinctively reach for your phone, use that brief moment to generate a really strong, positive motivation for the day. During your workday or physical activity, use the natural transitions between tasks as anchors to just pause and return to the breath. And going to sleep, as your head hits the pillow, use that anchor to quickly review your day, rejoice in the good things you did, and let the mind settle. By stacking these micro-meditations onto inevitable daily anchors, we practically guarantee that our entire 24-hour cycle becomes a vehicle for insight and growth.
Okay, wrapping things up with Section 6 are summary and references, looking at the architecture of daily flow.
So, to bring it all together, we've successfully defined how behavioral boosts improve your actual cognitive capacity over time rather than just nudging your environment. We outlined that frictionless, 3-step habit stacking method. We detailed the CBCT micro-meditations, remember, the 3 deep breaths and the butterfly analogy, and we walked through how to seamlessly apply this to the routine anchors you already have in your life. You now have a highly practical, actionable mindfulness framework at your disposal.
Before we go, here are the exact references we cited in this explainer. The integration of modern behavioral economics, especially B.J. Fogg's incredible work on tiny habits, combined with the profound contemplative science from the CBCT manual and Kadampa teachings, it just provides a phenomenal roadmap. I highly recommend checking these sources out to deepen your own understanding of these transformative concepts.
I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder as you step back into your day. What existing, mindless routine will you transform into a micro-meditation today? Is it going to be your morning shower? Your commute? Maybe just waiting in line for coffee? Remember, you really don't need to find more time in your day. You just need to utilize the time you already have with a completely different quality of attention. The architecture of your daily flow is entirely in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me on Bodhi Unified Flow, and I will see you in the next explainer.